Welcome to another exciting episode of The Biz Show, sponsored by InvestQuire. And now, your host, Barry and Lisa.
Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you today? It's a nice, bright, sunny day. No rain going on,
This week is going by so fast. It's winding down nicely, though.
It is a very nice week. I like the rain.
I know you do. We're like
and
night
I know
and
you
day.
like the sun. So.
I'm not like even in the best spirits when it's raining. I have to admit that. But when the sun is out, I'm raring to go, and I want to get a lot done, and I'm definitely more productive. So,
well, it's a good day to be productive, isn't it?
I would not be able to live in Seattle or Alaska where it's
And see,
dark.
I want to go there. I'm ready. Pack my bags. Let's go.
I'm supposed to go visit my niece. She lives in Seattle. I haven't been in a few years. So.
Oh, wow.
I have a lot of things to do and very little time.
Well, maybe I can go with you and see. I've actually never been to Seattle.
Oh, the Space Needle.
Tammy and I talked about moving up in that area, anywhere from Tillamook, Oregon, all the way up to Seattle, Washington.
Oh my God, you'll love it because it is beautiful.
It is. We want green.
Speaking of businesses, though, the first Starbucks was originated there in Seattle.
In Seattle, right?
Yeah. And the fish market is so much fun.
Was it Pike?
Pike's Fish Market, yeah. Best clam chowder, best seafood. Oh my gosh.
I like
now
clam
you make
chowder.
me want to go.
I like clam chowder.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about our podcast today, right?
Hey,
it's
everybody.
episode 8, and today's episode is about the misconceptions of buying and selling businesses, and there are a lot of them.
This is a fun one because everybody is scared, I think, to get into becoming a business owner if they haven't done so already. But people are curious, and they don't know how to go about it.
We're going to help you guys out today. And, like I've always said, and I'm going to say it again, and no, it's not going to be at the end of the day.
Well, let's say
what
it
it's
right
going
now.
I just did.
Of the day, because it's only like 9 o'clock here.
But how do you know what you don't know if you don't know what you don't know, right? And
that's another one of his favorite sayings.
That is one of my best favorite sayings. Well, the other one, I might as well throw it out there while we're there. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, right? Because you don't know where you're going.
But let's be intentional. And that's what this podcast is about being intentional with your choices, decisions. And we're going to help you navigate through some of them and some of the misbeliefs that people think about buying a business.
Yeah, InvestQuire, we're business brokers, and so we see this day in and day out, and a lot of questions that are asked that we answer for, and we thought we'd put this in a podcast, and we would, basically put this out there for all of you guys to be informed when you go make a decision to sell a business or buy a business, and what to expect. So what's the first misconception?
I think that people just want to get rid of the headache sometimes, and they hire us and say, just sell it. Just sell it. I have clients. Somebody will buy it. And they think like a buyer is just going to walk in off the street because they have customers walking into their business on a daily basis. But there's a lot that has to be packaged in order to present your business to get top dollar, basically. It's just like selling a house.
There's a lot of back-end work that needs to be done, a lot of prep work. So the misconception is really that selling a business is easy. It is not. It is hard. And, people compare it to buying a house. Well, it's completely different than buying a house because when you buy a house, you're done.
Buying a house is an emotional purchase where you really need to have somewhere to live, but buying a business is by choice and hopefully to expand your financial portfolio. So it's not like you have to buy a business, but you want to buy a business.
Yeah, and when you buy a business, what do you get? You get the business. You might get real estate with it. You might not. But you also get customers, you get product, you get employees, right? You get all of those different things that need to be vetted, need to be looked at. Those all go into the sale price. Employees are part of it, customers are part of it, and your product is part of it. So there are a lot of moving parts that have to tie into. So selling a business is a lot more complicated than selling a house. And there's a lot more back-end work that has to be done. So when we ask clients for particular documents or, we give them a list and these are all the different things we need, a lot of them look at us and go, do I really need to do this? This is a lot of stuff. Yeah, you want to sell your business, we need to have those answers because all that stuff needs to be vetted.
Yeah, and so just like when I always call it, let's showcase the product. Let's showcase it so it's like a model home if you're talking about residential real estate. Well, let's showcase your business similarly. Let's get it ready for professional photography and virtual tour and put it all over the web, in its best state. And let's showcase it like a real beautiful business so that we could help you get buyers that are interested in the buyer pool.
Yeah, it takes time to sell a business, number one, right? And the thing is there's a setup, right? There's things that you need to do prior to selling the business. Get your financials in order, right? Get the place cleaned up and picture ready.
Yeah. I mean, it takes about 60 to 90 days statistically to sell a business, where it may take 3 to 3 weeks to sell a home.
Right.
So it does take a lot longer. So you just want to make sure that you have a trusted business broker like ourselves to help navigate you through the preparatory work of getting your business ready for sale. And there is a list of things that we will provide you upfront when we meet with you, so that you can get everything together. And if you hand it over to us in a complete package, then we can definitely, run with that. But if we're kind of like being delayed by, having to gather documents, or, there's a lack of time in your business day to get the business showcase ready, then maybe there's some things that we could do to help facilitate, and kind of pitch in and help you get things done.
We can definitely pitch in. And you, as the business owner, you need to run your business. That's why you hire business brokers, so we handle all that stuff on the back end. But you still need to provide us all the documentation, stuff like that, so we can run with it. So we might come back and ask questions. Hey, what about this? What about that? Or, hey, you didn't add this into your P&L, or this is missing. That happens all the time. And just know that it's there.
Yeah. So it's not easy. It's hard, but that's where we come in.
Yep, exactly. So the next misconception is...
Well, I'll let you talk about this. It's kind of a guy thing.
It's a guy thing? What? Bigger is better? I don't know what you're talking about.
Or maybe it's a girl thing. I don't know. My girlfriends tell me this all the time.
The thing is this. You have certain knowledge. You have certain skills, right? And so when you're buying a business, you need to make sure that you match up that business size to what your goals are, right? So... If you don't know anything about business, are you going to go out and buy a multi-million-dollar corporation with 1,000 employees?
Obviously,
probably not.
If
you so, you're going to fail miserably.
Have some experience.
We will absolutely help you, and we have services to do that. But you need to back up a little bit, and we're going to help guide you through that stuff, right? So we're going to ask you questions about what are your skills? What do you want to do? Where do you think you want to be in 3 years? What do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And that helps us kind of fine tune, the search for a business, if that's what you're looking for, so that we can get the right business in front of you, and not just the right business, but the right size of business.
And on the flip side, don't think that you cannot own a big business. I mean, there is resources out there to help you run it, which Barry just mentioned, and that's where we come in also, providing those services. So, don't have to be afraid of owning a big business. We will help you with that as well.
And that's a great analogy, Lisa. We are there to help, absolutely, and we do have the experience and the knowledge and the history of running large businesses, and that's why we're here today, is to help you guys and educate you guys on how to do that. So don't be afraid if you don't have those skills. Just know that there is help to help you do it.
So why don't people buy big businesses? Because they don't have cash sitting around in a suitcase in the closet, or
the next misconception is the fact that you need a ton of money to buy a business.
They're like, where am I going to get this money from? I want to buy this company, and I don't know.
And the reality is, you don't. You don't need a whole lot of money. Just like when you buy a house, do you need a lot of money? You need a down payment, sure. You probably need a down payment here too. But there are a lot of places to go. There are investors, right? There are all kinds of investors who want to invest and have maybe a portion of your profits.
There are some SBA loans that only require 10% down. Yeah. I just provided some information to a client that they only needed 10% down. The client was like, wow. They were surprised. They thought it was going to be more like 35%. So we have a lot of resources when it comes to financing.
There's a lot of different SBA loans too, right? So there's a whole bunch. Banks have business loans and stuff like that. There's bridge, gap loans and things like that. So there's all kinds of different things. And that's where we can come in and make those connections for you. So, don't worry about money. Just worry about what your skills are and the size of business that you need.
Yes. The next one
is really a pet peeve of ours. Due diligence, right? And due diligence is just paperwork. It's not. there's a lot that goes into selling your business, right? Yes, we need paperwork. We need your financials. We need your accounts payable and receivables. And we need to analyze all that stuff so that we come up with the accurate numbers. But we also need contracts, for vendors, your lease. We also need your employees, how many employees you have, what type of employees they are. We might even sit down and interview those employees to get.
A big part of it is reviewing the paperwork, and there's all different kinds of paperwork that you need to have in order to assess the business completely and fully to understand what you're getting into. But due diligence may also be, walking into the business and looking at your neighboring properties. Who are the businesses around you? What is your competition? Doing some physical work yourself, just to learn, where is this business located? Is it a desirable area, location that, could help you expand the company? If that is the case, then that's part of the due diligence process, but it's not just the paperwork, but that is a big, large portion of it.
It is a big, large portion of it. And that's where, Lisa and I, we do spend a lot of time in there going through that, but
we want you to do it on your own as well. Like, double check our work.
And you mentioned something, and I'm just going to throw this out there because I think it's important, right? When you're running a business, you should know who your competition is, right? There's been several times where we've come in and a customer, they don't even know who their competition is. Hey, I just have this business and this is what I do, but I don't know anybody else out there that does this. Well, because they haven't checked, right? And then that's where we come in and we check.
Always ask questions too. That's part of us presenting the information, but you want to get clarity, please ask us questions so that you don't just rely on what we're providing you.
Right. So the next misconception is that negotiations is a win-lose situation.
People feel like that sometimes, so
they
I
do
can
feel
understand
like that
it.
sometimes, but for us, we've always tried to make it a win-win situation, right? And so as mediators and sitting in the middle and trying to negotiate, and bring terms together for everybody, we want to make everybody happy, right? You want to make the buyer happy and feel comfortable in buying the business. You want to make the seller happy, knowing that they've got the best that they can get and their business is in good hands. And
there's a lot of strategy and psychology behind negotiation. So it's really having somebody that can understand both parties and really figure out, like, what is it that a person is willing to give up to get what they want. So if we could identify that, then that's wonderful, because we would be able to help you get your goal in whatever you're trying to negotiate.
Right. And one of the biggest things is you need to take the emotion out of it, right? So yes, in buying real estate, residential.
Ego too.
Ego as well, right?
It's all about, I want to win, and I'm not going to give up anything because I'm going to win. So that becomes a big problem. And so, I try to circumvent that from happening.
I don't know how many times I've gone into a business and they're like, I got a $2 million business. And when we look at their financials and run their financials, no, you got a $300,000 business.
Yeah.
I get it. You built this. It's great. You've got all this stuff. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but financially, it's not there yet. In your mind, it is, but you got to let go of that.
And then there's people that think, they're afraid to ask for things that they want when it's time to negotiate. And I'm always a big opponent of having, the ask. You won't know until you ask, right? So don't be afraid to negotiate.
You can ask.
Absolutely.
We can tell you, no, that's not acceptable, or no, you can't do that. Sometimes the law might even dictate that you can't do that, right?
My buyers think just because there's a contract in place that, then it's a done deal. No, there's negotiations at every step of a sale.
Not until the money's in your bank is it a done deal.
Change the entire contract by the close of escrow.
Exactly. So another one is kind of interesting, right? It's the people who DIY sells and try to do it themselves. And there are so many gotchas and pitfalls here.
For sale by owner. Scary.
It is scary, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong, right? First of all, you got an evaluation of the company, right? So if you're going to sell it yourself, you have no expertise in evaluating that company. You just have an emotional understanding of, this is what I think it's worth. Number two is the negotiation side of it, right? And then any legalities. There's a lot of legal paperwork that goes involved, especially if there's real estate involved in it too, right? It's almost like two different transactions. The real estate's one transaction, and it's all together in one, but it kind of separates.
Well, you want to also protect yourself. So if you're not having a business broker involved, then you may be
Leaving money on the table.
Open to litigation
Yes.
from the buyer because maybe you didn't disclose something that they found out later. So it's really about protecting yourself, even post close escrow. So that's where the business broker, that's where you're really paying for that value and that comfort and assurance that you handle the transaction to where nothing's going to come at you later.
Yeah.
And also, there's people think, oh, I just had a buyer walk in and they did buy my company, or it was, my Aunt Sally or something like that. But I think there's a lot of, second guessing after that's done and over because you're thinking probably could have sold it for higher, which is most of the time correct.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads into the next one, right? Every business is worth what the asking price is. That's the next misconception.
I mean, even in home sales.
Even
that's
in home sales.
Not true.
You're going to put the price, let's just say $2 million. It might sell for 1.2, 1.5, 1.7, right?
Or it might sell for 2.5 or 3.5.
True, exactly.
If you get multiple offers, it could be a very viable company.
So just the asking price is really never.
It's a
rarely,
guide.
Yes.
And we call it most probable sale price. So the word probable tells you everything.
Yeah. Again, you need to take your emotions and unrealistic expectations out of it and understand that it's going to fluctuate. It's going to change.
Right. And that's where really deciphering the paperwork comes into making yourself feel good about the purchase price that you're offering to purchase a company for, and vice versa, and listing a company for.
Right. So let's, the next misconception is that it takes forever to find a perfect buyer. And
what's a perfect buyer?
Exactly.
What is that? A person that hands you a suitcase full of money?
and
what does a perfect buyer look like?
Who knows? I've never seen a perfect buyer. Maybe their suit's nice, clean, and pressed.
I mean, I'm pretty perfect, but I'm not perfect.
I don't know. I got lots of flaws.
Perfect buyer. That's what people tell us. Just get me the perfect buyer.
Here's where we come in, right? So finding a buyer taking a long time. As Lisa said, it might take 3 weeks to sell a house or whatever businesses. It might take, 60, 90 days, whatever the case might be. Well, we have a vast network. When we market your business, that we put it out there and for everybody to see across the entire United States. So actually they can even see it worldwide if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And in that network, there comes a lot of upfront costs that we have to spend in doing stuff like that. But, that does drive things down, and millions and tens of millions of people see your business for sale on a monthly basis. So
it drives a lot of traffic. You mean on the web?
Yeah.
When we do that marketing, that type of marketing where you could, open your
Connections.
business up to so many different types of people worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is no perfect buyer, and there is no really set time frame. Does it take a long time? Some do, because there's unrealistic expectations. Some sell really fast because, everything just clicked really nice and neat.
Depends on the industry too, right?
Yeah.
What's the trending industry?
The next misconception, you just spoke about it, right? That the sale ends at closing. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't.
That is so not true.
Yeah.
So many questions come up after closing, and that's where our phone starts ringing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
help me. What happened? How come they didn't tell me this? Where's this?
And there's a handover too, right? So even after the sale and the money's been transferred and stuff like that, the new owner is going to walk in. But how are they walking in? Do we as brokers go in and introduce them to the employees? Do you as the past owner introduce them? There's a handoff. And that should be done, I don't want to say professionally, but there should be a handoff, right?
Some owners will stay in place for a time period.
Yeah.
And it's part of the agreement that they will
We'll
help,
negotiate that.
hand off and train, provide specific amount of hours in training the new owner on their
Right.
procedures and policies.
So the next misconception is saying goodbye to your legacy. Well, you're not really saying goodbye because you can still be involved. As you mentioned, some sellers,
Stay
they're
involved.
the expert of that business most of the time. And so they might, and we might negotiate into the contract that they're going to be there for a year to help acclimate the new buyers to the business, right? And then so there's a gradual transition out.
And that's where their passion about the business comes in, because they do want to stay part of it to make sure that it's successful and they don't lose their clientele. Who
Right.
they probably formulated friendships with, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yep.
So definitely. Next misconception is only established businesses are eligible for sale. what's established?
What does that mean? Like brick and mortar?
Yeah,
What would you
I
consider?
think that's,
Some people think it's like a storefront.
Well, yeah, or it's a viable business that's been in
Has
business for
customers already.
5 years and stuff
It could
like
be
that.
a business idea.
It could be. Business ideas are for sale. Patents are for sale. Startups and early stage ventures, they can be for sale too. If you got a startup and you've got a concept going and you're working on something, and then now somebody is interested in buying that and adding that into their own stuff, okay, that makes it a viable business. It doesn't have to be an established business with customers.
No, it could be a product that you invented.
Yeah.
And then people want to, sell it in different forms.
It
right?
could be. And maybe it's even a licensing thing, right? Maybe you just want to sell the licensing to it so somebody can manufacture it and sell it, and you're getting some type of residual income on that.
Right.
So there's a lot of different types of sales. It's not just established businesses.
Correct.
Right? So another misconception is, well, only my competitors are the ones that want to buy my business. How do you know that? Just because the competitor down the street and you are in the same business space and selling to the same customer base, there could be anybody out there who wants to buy your business.
Actually, that would be the perfect buyer.
It would. Well, it might be the perfect buyer.
That would be your perfect buyer. The competitor.
But it is a misconception that you're only selling to them.
And
right?
some people, some sellers don't want to sell to their competitor because they want to keep their branding alive as a legacy.
Well, in mergers and acquisitions and stuff like that, there's always going to be one company that is the parent company, and then the one company that is the sub company.
Right.
But a lot of those, I've done deals where both of them stay in business. Even though company A owns company B still retains their branding, their logos, their customer base, their product. And it all just falls into one P&L at the end of the day up at the corporate headquarters, right?
Yeah. But at the end of the day,
I said it, and now you said it.
It's all about money. So maybe
It is.
if the local competitor offered you a bundle of money that you didn't expect, you would be like, oh, sure, you could buy my business, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So, money is always the bottom line.
Yep. The next misconception is okay, well, I'm going to be losing my employees. Well, employees are part of the business, absolutely. And yes, those are going to go with the new
owner may actually cut, cut some employees,
he may.
lay off some employees.
Some of them may do that, absolutely.
But why are they still your employees? I mean, if they're selling the business, it's no longer your employees, but you actually would care about their livelihood.
Well,
and
that's
families.
just it. There's the emotion again, right? So you gotta understand
kind of
that.
separate business from emotion.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that does happen, but it is a misconception that will definitely happen.
And you might have made friends with some of these people, right? Some of them may come over to your house for barbecues, or may go out
They're a
boating with
valuable
you or
asset.
fishing with you.
That's how we evaluate the company, is by the employees' productivity and
exactly.
yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, here we go again. There is an emotion that you need to take out of that, right? So they are part of the business, employee, just like the product and just like the customers, right? Those all go with the business. Because if you sell a business and you try to take the employees and you try to take the customers, you're going to end up in court.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get sued, because even though you sold the business, you stole all the customers and you stole the employees. And that's illegal.
Exactly.
That's like you're selling a car, but when you go to give it to the new buyer, you take the tires off it and you're keeping the tires.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, hello.
Yeah, that's definitely not ethical.
Right.
So misconception, another one, buying a business guarantees instant success? Maybe, maybe not.
Well, how do you define success?
I guess if it's a well-oiled machine and you really don't have to do much to take over the business, then yeah, it's probably going to be continually successful.
Well, as a buyer, what's successful? You've made the money that you wanted to make out of this, right? And as a buyer, what's successful? You've bought the business and it's within a price range that you feel comfortable with, and it's got everything that you expected that you were getting with it.
Obviously, that's what you want. You want it to be instantly successful, instant money
Right.
in your piggy bank, right?
Exactly.
There may be some lag time in taking over the business and system, so that's what we want to keep you mindful and prepared, to be realistic with.
Yeah, exactly. And then another one is emotional attachment doesn't matter in business.
Comes up all the time, right?
Every single sale, it comes up, right?
Some people are more emotional than others.
Yes, they are. Some of them are crying, and some of them are just like, okay, let's get this done. I'm out of here. Give me my check. And so it's from one side of the spectrum all the way to the other side of the spectrum. We've seen it all. And there's no right or wrong way to handle it, but just understand that it can be emotional. You do need to subtract that out of the equation the best that you possibly can, but sometimes I know that's hard.
And if I do give credit to us, that's really how Barry and I operate, is to really have compassion for the emotional side when it does come to representing a client, because we don't want to just let's get this deal done and just all business, but we do take the time to actually sit and chat with you about your journey of owning the company or what the goals are that you have for your future. So we don't just, treat you like you're just a number to us, but you're actually a human being that operated this company for a long time. Or somebody that's, buying a business, all of your goals and your family's dreams of putting all your investment money into something and purchasing it with the dream of it becoming successful. I mean, that is an emotion. It's definitely a part of life. And so
it is, and
we will definitely have that relation because we're business owners and we've been involved in several companies.
Exactly. And not only that, but after the sale, we stay behind. We have, options for you that if you have knowledge gaps or skills gaps or things that you need, that we can help you fill those voids until the time rises that you don't need that anymore. So we're going to stay behind after the sale and help you grow your business.
Yeah, that's with the business part of it. But I mean,
Yeah.
like when we're trying to relate to somebody emotionally, that is definitely an area that we will show up for you.
Yeah, exactly. So in kind of just summarizing and wrapping things up, right? We just wanted to go over some of the misconceptions and make sure now that you are equipped and understand some of the things that go into buying and selling a business and the misconceptions that have gone along with that, right?
And we're aware of them. I mean, that they come up in our own minds when we're dealing with a client. I mean, and so we have to overcome some of our misconceptions about our clients and fully understand. So that's, we just want you to know that we know what's going on in your minds, and we want to have open dialogue with all of our clients. And so, and there is an emotional side to it, as we just mentioned.
There is.
So we want to be your trusted partner in the journey.
InvestQuire, right? We are here to help you sell your business, buy a business, or fill in any of the gaps that you might need: management, consulting, business, coaching, mentoring, so on and so forth. So where can you find us? You can find us at investquire.com. You also can find The Biz Show and talk to Lisa and myself on The Biz Show forum or group on Facebook.
Yeah, please feel free to contact us either through email, texting. We look forward to seeing you in person whenever we are able to meet you. Please reach out to us anytime. We're here to help you.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for this episode.
Have a wonderful day and go make some money.
Yeah, and see you next week.
Bye.
You can find InvestQuire at www.investquire.com and the Biz Show group on Facebook. Please feel free to reach out.